All systems go. Clear for liftoff.
What's going on, everybody? My man Little Neck, the first one in here. Appreciate the words. Big Marley and I talking some fights Thursday night. If you're watching Thursday, Friday, Saturday, appreciate you hanging out. Michael Peterson also in here. 12 fights, Big Marley. 12 fights is the magic number, so I'm good with 12 as long as we don't lose one. We've been blessed with 13 and 14 recently. Live crowd, though, Des Moines, Iowa. First time they're in Des Moines since 2000, UFC 26. Absolutely crazy. Ready for this card? 9 of the 12 fights expected to go the distance, so not a lot of violence. But I'm looking at ownership. Yeah, we don't have ownership posted yet. It'll be posted tomorrow. Only one fighter projected for over 50%, 2 right around that 40% mark. That means it's a pretty spread out card. I like spread out cards. Even though not many expected finishes, ownership spread outs can get a little different, aiming for like the 10 dupe or less mark. How are we doing this weekend, Big Marley?
Yeah, good. Really looking forward to these main 2 fights this weekend. I feel like they're carrying the card. But for DFS, yeah, it should be fairly spread out. And I do think if for a 12-fight card, it's pretty solid for DFS. So looking forward to it.
Absolutely. Sorry. Almost caught me drinking some water. I know I didn't want to bring it up, but not the result you, Ricardo, or Kenny wanted last week. But with that being said, hey, to even get to that point is really tough. I didn't get there this year. The past 3 years, I actually did qualify. None of the years I actually ended up getting there. It's really, really tough. I know it's tough pill to swallow, but you even getting there is impressive. And I know you didn't put a ton of money to get that seat as well. Disappointing a little bit, but anything you want to say to that? Otherwise, we can just move on, and I apologize for bringing it up if you didn't want to.
Yeah, no, I mean, I was definitely super tilted for a day, but I'm over it now. I mean, it just sucks more because I swapped off of a winning lineup for 2 minutes before lock. So, I mean, if it wasn't for that, I wouldn't have been as pissed off. But, yeah, tough pill to swallow, but I really wasn't even planning on playing in that qualifier. It just happened that I had like 25 lineups that week. I looked at $15, and it was a 25 entry max, so I just maxed it out. I think I might have maxed out one other 15, but I definitely profited, so I can't complain. And I would like one where they do a smaller entry just in, and then the final, even if it's not live, I just want a big live final. You know, one instead of playing head to head for 4 rounds or whatever it is, just give me one, and we're good.
Yeah, no, I hear that for sure. MMA is different. It's like golf. You got to go through the rounds. But, I mean, that's very impressive. Only 2 slates you maxed out, and you got there. So, good stuff. We're going to talk, again, 12 fights. Appreciate everyone hanging out. If you're not a member, before we go talk fights, bottom to top, no better deal going on right now. Usually $99 for all of our content, SaberSim Core, and the Discord. Use the code DGen75. Gets you $75 off your first month. Only $24. And, again, and you get SaberSim. Our projections and ownership are loaded into that. And you get the best Discord around. Usually, if I see a lot of line movement or something, I drop a note in Discord. I tag MMA chat about big line movements. A couple hours before the fights, if there's not big line movement, I don't do it. But the last couple cards, there was some noticeable ones. So big benefit to get in the Discord. Also get to talk to a lot of very sharp people and get their thoughts as well. YSN, what's going on? Let's get it is right. We're going bottom to top. Again, 12 fights on this card. Last 2 fights, as you can see right here, Big Marley, 5-5, no other 5s throughout. The last 2 most definitely are carrying this card, but let's try and find some sneaky options down below, starting with the first fight of the night. Avonda Petrovic taking on Juliana Miller, minus 220 Petrovic, plus 185 is Miller, plus 155 for this fight to finish. Petrovic plus 215 inside the distance, Miller plus 550. What are you doing in this one?
Probably, I mean, I'll play a little bit of both of them, to be honest with you. I don't think either side will get too owned in this one. Miller has some decent striking. I mean, she looked like she had a ground game in Tough, or maybe it was her first fight in the UFC, and then she just fell off a cliff in her last two fights. And it looks like if she gets taken down, she just has nothing to offer off her back, and you can hold her there for as long as you want, it seems like. And that's what Petrovic has done good at in the UFC, is land a couple takedowns, hold 6 to 9 minutes of top control time. And I think that's her easy path to victory in this fight. You just land 2 to 3, maybe 4 or 5 takedowns if we're lucky, and grind out 2 to 3 rounds on the ground. If that's the case, I think she can score well. Miller has a 0% takedown defense accuracy, which is, I mean, not very good. So I think 2 rounds for Petrovic is the move for me. But Miller, in my opinion, is a better striker. And if she could just beat her to the punch and land takedowns herself, I think she has a pretty high ceiling. So I'm not against going a little bit over the field there to get it a bit different. But what are you thinking on this one? I'm thinking it's a better to be above the field than below it on this one.
Hot take. It's one of my favorite fights on the card for DFS.
Okay, nice. Makes me like.
I mean, it's a really, really bad DFS card in terms of ceiling. So most cards, I would not be saying that by any means. But looking at ownership, Petrovic we have is the lowest owned in the upper tier. Juliana Miller, I mean, she's around a lot of the other people, but by no means is she one of the highest owned. And Juliana Miller fights are just fun because she walks forward, she blocks punches with her faces, she throws punches. You look at the stone right here, 2.53 takedowns per 15 for Petrovic, 1.84 for Juliana Miller. I'm just hoping it's one-way domination, whether it's like Miller against Walker dominating or it's Hardy against Miller dominating that side. I'm hoping to get a 30-27, a late finish from someone. But yeah, any Juliana Miller win, I think, is more than likely optimal. I don't like many dogs on this card. I'll say it right now. Miller is one of my favorites for sure. Petrovic, in a card with only 12 fights, where I'm going to be eating a lot of Corey Sandhagen chalk and some other stuff, she's a way I can get different in spots. And she's 8,800. Like, why could I not drop down? Let's see. Even Bo Nickel. Why could I not drop down Bo Nickel to Petrovic, leave 300 in a chalkier lineup? That could be 38 dupes all the way down to 6. That's something I'm willing to do on this card. Petrovic has wrestling upside, plus 215 inside the distance prop isn't bad. And Juliana Miller fights are usually high pace. I'm playing a lot of this fight, Big Marley. It's not fun. It's the first fight of the night. I think it's the nature of the card, though. I'm really struggling with the mid-tier, so when we get to some of these fights, I'm going to need help. This one I do feel good about, though. At ownership, most definitely I'll be overweight, probably overweight to both girls.
Nice. All right, I like it. Yeah, I might even bump this up to a 4 before all is said and done.
I mean, yeah, when we go through these fights, let's get to this next fight. Like, I'm playing this fight, but by no means do I love this fight. Thomas Peterson and Dantel Mays. Minus 280 is Peterson. Plus 240 is Dantel Mays. Minus 105 for this fight to finish. Plus 200 inside the distance is Peterson. Plus 325 is Mays. So let me throw it to you right here. We're talking literally the same pricing range. 100 more is Peterson than Petrovic. 100 less is Mays than Miller. Who do you prefer, Peterson or Petrovic? And then who do you prefer, Mays or Miller?
Miller over Mays.
For sure. That's not even close, in my opinion. Yep. The other one's close.
Yeah. The other one's real close, actually. I'd say, yeah,
it's the same thing. Like, look at the takedown. Yeah. Pretty much identical. Peterson, if he gets on top, he can be dominant. Inside the distance props are pretty similar. I will say ownership is pretty similar too, because when you go to the next highest price after Peterson, it's Bo Nickel. Bo Nickel's going to be way higher than both. So I don't even know why I like more Petrovic Peterson. I leaned Petrovic just because I expect Miller to push the pace more, and I think the fight will be more fun. But man, Dantel Mays is just a bum at the end of the day. So I don't know. I'm going to be playing both.
Yeah, I'll say both. Maybe I'll lean with Petrovic because I think she has to land takedowns to look like a minus 225 favorite, where Peterson could win a striking match and score 60 points, which would suck. But I guess I'll go with Petrovic for that.
Makes sense. Anything else you want to add in this fight, though? You have a 3, like, I'm playing both sides. At the end of the day, there's dogs that we're going to get to that I have hot takes that are going to be high owned that I'm not playing. Like, if Dantel Mays wins, he's plus 325 inside the distance. His or his money lines plus 240. So most wins they think's a finish. Another thing that stands out, 5 inches in height, 7 inches in reach advantage. But that's every fight pretty much, and he still stinks. But yeah, break this one down.
Yeah, I think that Peterson's just got him covered everywhere except for height, length, and maybe athleticism. That's really all Mays has. He's just not good anywhere, though. So I like Peterson if it's going to be on the ground. I think he's the one grinding out minutes. But I don't think he finishes there unless it's just some mean ground and pound, which I haven't really seen from him. I think he could knock him out on the feet too, but I don't know. He's been scoring, 77-ish? That's kind of what I see in my head. He lands 2 to 3 takedowns in this fight. Doesn't do a ton with them except win 2 to 3 rounds on the scorecards. I don't think he hits 10x if I were to guess, but I do think he has 100-point potential. So I don't know, anywhere between 70 and 100 for this guy. But at the same time, I don't like Mays, so I'll probably X him out and then leave Peterson in my pool, get a little bit more Petrovic, get a little bit more of the people below him. Above him. But when I'm clicking hand builds, he's just not a name I really want to click on a lot. Like same with Petrovic. I don't really like clicking on her, but if we're trying to get different, I think it makes a lot of sense on this card, and they do have paths to a high score, and that'd be great right out of the gates. You score 100 points from either or both of them. If you have them both in your lineup, you're feeling really good throughout the rest of your night. If you're sitting at 200 points from Peterson and Petrovic, I would like that.
Yeah, like Jocelyn Edwards last week. You played Jocelyn in the first fight. You were definitely feeling pretty good. I mean, man, Chelsea Chandler, it might be time to – I think she did drop the gloves, didn't she?
I didn't. I was trying to get my ESPN to work. I was signing in. I turned it on. I'm like, no freaking way this fight's over already. Are you serious?
I mean,
so I missed the whole
bad.
thing.
She is bad. There's no doubt about it. So one of the big differences is from Petrovic and Peterson is Peterson plus 500 in round 1, Petrovic plus 800. Now, with that being said, though, Petrovic can go 15 minutes and still be just fine. If Peterson in this fight goes 15 minutes, I probably don't see him being optimal at 8,900. So, yeah, that's something to note. He's taking some money on the inside the distance and round 1 prop. Still, gun to my head, I'm taking Petrovic for more ceiling, but both literally very, very similar plays. Both you can save money with. Both will be lower owned. If you're playing flagship stuff, trying to solo ship 5 or less, these are 2 you can target them in the upper tier to get different. Juliana Miller, I definitely prefer than Mays, but I'm going to be playing some Mays. Plus 325 inside the distance. That's 23% chance and a half that Dantel finishes. When you say it like that on a card that I don't like many dogs, I'm forced to play Dantel Mays. So we spent enough time on that heavyweight slot fest. Let's move it on. Next fight on the card. We got Gaston Bolanos taking on Quang Lee. Minus 135 Bolanos. Plus 115 is Lee. Plus 105 for this fight to finish. Bolanos plus 170 inside the distance. Lee plus 450. So right here, so this fight opened plus 120 to finish. Now plus 105. I like to see that. Not much has changed on the money line. Bolanos, though, inside the distance prop, open plus 215, now plus 170. Pretty good. And on a card with weak inside the distance props in the mid-tier, I'm going to target this fight. I hate the mid-tier. If I had to pick my favorite mid-tier fight, I think it's this one, but I'm easily can be convinced on other stuff. This mid-tier is so bad. What do you see in this one?
Yeah, not a big fan of the mid-tier. I think I'm going to try and play just one side of most of those fights. I don't know about this one. I'm kind of okay getting both sides of this fight because I don't feel good about either one of them. I would say Lee's more likely to get takedowns in this fight, but I like Bolanos to be the better striker. I also like him to be just the stronger guy, and if he wanted to go for takedowns himself, I think he'd be fine doing that. But in my opinion, for either one of these guys to hit a ceiling, we're going to need a finish. I just don't think it's going to be a high-paced enough fight on the feet or the ground for there to be like 90-plus points in a decision for either one of them. So I'd say it's closer to a 2-star than a 4-star for me for that reason. I'm not really making it a point to click on either name. If I am clicking on this in my hand builds, it's probably Bolanos. But for MME, I'll leave them both in there and probably be between 10 and 20%, something like that.
If I told you Lee scored 75 points, how much would you have of them?
I'd probably want at least 20% because I'm struggling to find dogs on this card. So I would take 75 on this card.
I'd probably have 75%. And
I wouldn't want that much, but
I hate dogs on this card. When we get to it, I literally picked.
I guess, yeah. I mean, if you told me he was going to have 75 points, like we know he's going to win.
Yeah,
sure, then I'd be okay with that. But it's like if let's say if he's going to win, well, we don't know that.
No, I'm not saying
he's going to score.
No,
so yeah. If I do it, then sure, I'd load up.
Yeah, that's the reason why, like, at 7,700 and he's only plus 115, he maybe can mix in takedowns. I think Bolanos is the better striker. So, like, in this Gutierrez fight, when he was getting outstruck, like, he tries for takedowns. I think Bolanos is the better striker. Maybe Lee can get on the inside, surprise something, but I hate dogs. So if I'm getting 75 points at 7,700 this week, I'm 75%, 80%, and it's not guaranteed to be optimal. That's why I'm not saying 100%, but you tell me a dog wins on this card, I am playing a lot of that dog. There's no doubt about that. That's how I see this card. I don't think it's a card where the winner has 620. I think you could see the winner have 515, 540. Like, I'm expecting a low scoring card this week, and I would not be surprised one bit if a loser is on the winner. Just like last week with Jimmy Flick, that was a 14 fight card. Wouldn't be surprised if that happened on this card. All right, I'm going to circle back later when we get to some other mid-tier fights so you can compare them because I'm struggling in this mid-tier. That is my favorite if I had to pick because I think Bolanos has KO upside, most finishing upside out of everyone in the mid-tier, and the inside the distance prop shows that. And I think Quang Lee, for the cheapest in the mid-tier, has very good win equity. So that's my thoughts on that one. That's one. Clash of Styles in the women's division, or for the women's, Jillian Robertson, minus 285. Marina Rodriguez, plus 245. Plus 170 for this fight to finish. Robertson, plus 185 inside the distance. Rodriguez, plus 900. Are you playing any Marina Rodriguez? Grappler, wrestler Robertson, striker Rodriguez. What are you doing?
It depends on how many lineups I make. I honestly was thinking if I made like 10 lineups on this card, I might go all in on Robertson. And I even if I didn't go all in on her, I wouldn't play Rodriguez, let's say. But Robertson is my favorite play on the card, probably. I just think that it's one-sided either way you look at it, but Robertson's not going to accept a striking match. I think if she fails her first 6, 7 takedowns, she's going for 8, 9, 10. She's not just going to stand at range with Rodriguez. If she does, she's going to get TKO'd, and Rodriguez should score well, but I don't think that's the case. I think Robertson's landing takedowns, especially early. If Rodriguez gets a second round TKO, is it enough at that point? I don't know. I'd rather just take my chances on, because it's probably like a standing TKO anyways. I don't even think she's getting the knockdown if she gets a TKO. So I'm just going to take my chances on. If Rodriguez gets a TKO, I feel like it's
I'd have
100%. Ref just steps in.
And
a second rounder?
Yeah, any round, I'd have 1,000,000%. But she's plus 900. So this is where I struggled. In my head, like, I thought Rodriguez was way more alive for a KO and stuff. The big cage helps. If it was the Apex, I would like Robertson even more. Like, Marina can bounce around. But, man, plus 900, like, I struggle to see her winning. Like, Robertson can be hurt on the feet. Like, if Rodriguez won, I thought the inside the distance and the money line would be a lot closer. And that's where I kind of struggle with Rodriguez. I've been going back and forth on fading in 20 and below or getting underweight. I still don't even know. I think Robertson eventually gets it to the mat. And when it's on the mat, Rodriguez has nothing off her back. With all that being said, though, she's never been submitted. She's fought Verna Jandiroba, Mackenzie Dern. That concerns me a little bit. But Robertson also, the last 2 decisions, still scored a little over 100. Now, is a little over 100 enough? That's another question. Sandhagen, Bo, Mason Jones, there is upside in the upper tier. So, yeah, this fight's tough. I'm definitely playing Robertson. I don't know about Marina yet, but the upper tier is loaded with upside. The lower tier is definitely not.
Yeah, I really struggle to see how Rodriguez wins a decision in this one because if Robertson can't land takedowns, she's just not going to be able to strike with her at all. Like, no, I think it's just as dominant on the feet for Rodriguez as it will be for Robertson on the ground. But in my opinion, it's Robertson takedown, and she keeps it there until she gets a finish, or she backpacks her for the whole round, has nothing to worry about. They start the second round. She does the same thing over again. I just don't think this is going to be on the feet long at all. So I'm heavy Robertson. She'll be my highest owned fighter on the card, I'd imagine.
I like it. I'm on the Robertson side too. We're going to go right to the next fight, and I'm going to ask a question, and it's going to be Ryan Loder versus Marina Rodriguez. But Osmot Bekov minus 410, Ryan Loder plus 340, minus 130 for this fight to finish. So this is one of the 3 fights expected to finish on the card. Bekov plus 105 inside the distance, Loder plus 625. So you can see some line movement in this one. Minus 380 when I put this on Tuesday, now minus 410. So Bekov has taken a little money, plus 105 inside the distance. He was plus 115 when I wrote this up Tuesday as well. Break down this fight. Would you rather play Loder or would you rather play Marina Rodriguez?
Definitely Loder for me. If Loder wins, it's got to be takedowns and grinding out top control, or getting a ground and pound finish, just kind of flatten them out and getting the referee to stop it. But either way, that's going to score highly for Loder. I don't know how likely it is, but I definitely want Loder exposure. At the same time, I think that Bekov could just be the better wrestler, probably is, and he could land the takedowns himself. Loder have nothing to offer from the bottom. I also think Bekov's the better striker in this one too. So just way more ways to win. But if Loder wins, like let's say all underdogs won somehow, I feel like Loder top 2, top 3 score on the card, I would think. So I definitely want some of that. I'll get Bekov too, but I like other favorites a little bit more than Bekov. I'd guess I'll be around the field on him and probably a little over the field on Loder.
You and I see very similar. Like, I'm playing Loder because if he wins, he's got to score while it's wrestling. I do want to make a disclaimer. So to fill in these numbers, significant strikes and takedowns, I just at least have one UFC fight. I don't include contender series. Both of these guys have had one UFC fight though. So these numbers are definitely skewed. Don't just be like, yeah, this is an all-in fight because they throw a ton of volume and a ton of takedowns. Again, it's a one-fight sample. Bekov got it done in one round against Zachary Reese. So I did want to say that. I'm going to play some Bekov. Solid props. He's in between Bo Nickel and Corey Sandhagen. And Jillian Robertson, who I think is higher owned too. So naturally just a pivot in a fight expected to finish. And I do think he's probably the better wrestler, definitely the better striker, more finishing upside. So I am on Bekov, and he's taking money in this one as well. But I will have a little Ryan Loder. If he wins, I think it's wrestling because that's what he's known for. What's up, Lone Wolf? Appreciate you hanging out. Next fight on the card, mid-tier fight. Misha Tate minus 134. Giannis Santos plus 114. Plus 250 for this fight to finish. Misha Tate plus 275 inside the distance. Santos plus 1,000. We have the 38-year-old wrestler in Misha Tate against a 35-year-old striker in Giannis Santos. What wins out?
I picked Santos because she had the plus next to her name. Still does, right? Yeah. Tate's a better submission grappler in this one. She could be possibly the better wrestler too, be able to grind out top control time, but it's not going to look like her last fight did against Julia Vila. And I think that Santos could be the better wrestler herself and either use that in defense to keep it standing, push her against the cage, win minutes there, or land takedowns and really not have a ton to worry about with Tate on the bottom. I think Santos is going to be the better striker, probably keep it there for more than half the fight and score around 10x or so if she wins, maybe probably less. But I would rather just take my chances on her rather than throw money into the pot, getting both sides of this fight. I'll fade Tate, get a little bit of Santos, but overall it's not a fight that I like because I would guess she scores in the low 70 range if she does get the win, because your most danger is going to come from the ground on Tate. I don't know how many takedowns you're looking to get there. And if you are pushing the fight against the cage, grinding out time there, that's I hate that so much. Yeah, that's horrible. So probably just a fight to avoid, but for me, Santos or pass.
Yeah, shout out G Ryzen. Michael loves it. This fight will require a safety meeting, as our man G Ryzen likes to say. I prefer Misha Tate because I think she has a higher ceiling. If someone's getting takedowns, I think it's Tate. If there's a finish, I mean, the odds clearly say Tate plus 275 versus plus 1,000, plus 450 by submission for her. So is someone scoring 90 plus? I think it is Misha Tate in this fight.
Yeah.
I mean, Giannis Santos couldn't even finish Chelsea Chandler last fight, and we saw how bad she looked. With all that being said, 7,900, if Giannis Santos wins, I assume she's keeping it on the feet, maybe landing 98 significant strikes. It still probably scores 75. 75 could be enough on this card, but Tate is my preferred play because I do think she has more upside. This fight or Gaston Bolanos and Lee? You have this fight as a 2-star and that is a 3. So I take it the Bolanos fight.
Yeah, definitely. As a whole, the other fight, yeah.
Yeah. All right. Let's keep it rolling. Again, appreciate everyone hanging out. Whenever you're watching, Thursday, Friday, Saturday. We got 7 p.m. Eastern fight time this Saturday. Fingers crossed we don't lose any fight, because if we lose one fight, my volume's going to go way down. 12 fights, the magical number for me. So fingers crossed we keep all 12. Biggest favorite on the card, Mason Jones, minus 525, taking on Jeremy Stephens, plus 410. Minus 155 for this fight to finish. So the second of 3 fights expected to finish on the card. Minus 125 inside the distance for Jones. Plus 675 inside the distance for Stephens. So we got both guys who got cut from the UFC coming back. Stephens, just a 1-fight contract, fighting in his hometown of Iowa. I mean, man, this dude went, UFC was getting dusted against great competition, though. PFL went 1-2. To bare knuckle, where he went 3-0. But bare knuckle in MMA, it's mixed martial arts. It ain't just hands. It ain't just eating some knuckles. Yeah, he's still a bad dude. There's no doubt about that. He has power. I don't know why the UFC ever cut Mason Jones. I mean, this dude's good. There's no doubt about that. Losing to Mike Davis, go back and watch that Mike Davis fight, man. That fight was great. That Onama fight was great. I love Mason Jones. I think he wins. Problem is, he's the highest priced fighter on the card. And I'll tip my hand a little bit. When we get to Corey Sandhagen Fig, I'm playing a bunch of Corey Sandhagen. So I like Sandhagen more than Jones. I don't like many dogs, so I doubt I'm going to have many Jones-Sandhagen lineups. So naturally, I'm just going to be underweight. But I'm going to throw it to you on this. Does Mason Jones just come out and shoot a double leg and just wrestle Stephens right away and remind him? Or is he going to be into the war that Jeremy Stephens wants? Because, well, then Stephens is live.
Yeah, actually, I don't know. I'm so torn on what to do with this fight, because I could see Jones just striking with them and still even winning clearly on volume. But at 9,500, that's probably not going to cut it. I don't think he knocks out Stephens, but I do think he could win a decision through wrestling and score 110 plus in this fight. But if you are going to strike with Stephens is always live for the knockout. He's dangerous. I feel like I've seen Jones hurt before, maybe more than I'd like. So yeah, I don't know what to do with this one. I don't love 9,500. I'd rather pay less for Sandhagen. I'd rather pay less for Robertson. And if 6,700, I think if I needed that, like if I'm building a lineup, I come to my last spot and it's $6,700. I mean, I'll roll with it. But you kind of have to expect a loss there. He could score 20 to 35 in a loss, like if it's a smaller contest, but he's also got 100-point upside with that KO. I just don't know how likely it is at 38 years old, and he hadn't won a UFC fight in like 7 years. So Jones is the preferred side, but I think I'm just gonna be underweight to the fight.
Yeah, I'm fading Jeremy Stephens at 20 or less. I think even if it gets tough for Jones, he can just revert to wrestling. I'm going to be underweight Mason Jones just because I'm going to have so much Corey Sandhagen. And again, it's one, like, I can't be overweight on both, I don't think. And I'm going to play a bunch of Corey. So naturally, I'm going to have to be under on Jones. But it is scary to be under on Jones. There's no doubt about that. All right, let's keep it rolling. It's your fight. Surrey City, minus 130, taking on Cameron Smotherman, plus 110. Plus 115 for this fight to finish. City plus 250 inside the distance. Smotherman plus 300. Break down this fight in the mid-tier and then compare it to Bolanos and Lee.
Bolanos and Lee. I like it, I think, less than Bolanos and Lee. But it's just I'm switching sides on it. I like the underdog in this one a little bit more, and I like the favorite in the Bolanos one more. It's another fight I expect to stay standing, so it's not going to be great if it does go to a decision. 60s, 70s is very live in this fight for either winner here. I'd much rather have that from the underdog, though, so he's my preferred play for that reason. But I think Smotherman throws the harder shots. I think he'll be a little bit ahead on volume, but has the higher ceiling, in my opinion, with the knockout potential. City is more technical, in my opinion. He's more likely to look for takedowns, but I think this fight stays standing, probably goes all 3 rounds. So for me, it's mostly dog or pass.
Yeah, I think City wins. I think he's mixes it up better. I think he's the better pure striker. I think he has better durability. But yes, Smotherman probably does have more one-shot power. He is 600 cheaper. So I can't argue it at all. This is one of the fights. I prefer the Bolanos Lee fight to if I had to pick. And this is one of the fights where Saberson, I like everything. And I have 32% Smotherman, 22 City. Sure. Vice versa. I have 32 City, 22 Smotherman. Sure. I don't have a strong lead on this fight. I don't love it. 2 primary strikers and a fight favored to go the distance. Not something I like signing up for often. But you can say that about a lot of these mid-tier fights. So if Smotherman wins and scores 78, I would have to take that. If City wins and scores 78, I wouldn't like that as much. So for that reason, maybe I'm live on air kind of flipping. But I do think Smotherman will be higher owned because salary's tough and people realize that. So you do get a little lower owned fighter, a little more leverage on the City side. Couple fights left. Next fight on the card, Montel Jackson -201, Daniel Marcos +171, +145 for this fight to finish. Montel +225 inside the distance. Daniel Marcos +450. Couple things stand out. 17-0 for Daniel Marcos. The O is on the line. Next, Montel, 3 inches in height, 6 inches in reach. And man, 5.9 significant strikes per minute for Marcos, 3.41 takedowns for Montel. A lot to unpack there, Big Marley. Who do you lean?
I like Jackson. I always like Jackson. I don't think I've ever picked against him. He's good everywhere. He's a good striker. He's dangerous. He's got heavy hands, huge hands. And he's also a really good wrestler. I don't think he wrestles as much as he should, but he's really good at it. And I feel like one flaw I've seen so far was the Brett Johns fight where he was just taken down over and over again. But that's not Marcos. Marcos is a good boxer. I think if this fight stays at range, Marcos is live to win. But if Marcos wins, I think he's scoring less than 10x. I think he's mid-60s range. So I'm just going to pass on Marcos, and I'll take the other people we've talked about instead. And then Jackson, if he wins a decision on the feet, he's not going to score enough, but he is live for a knockout in any round. He's also live to land, 2 to 7 takedowns in this fight. So I'll be overweight just because I'm biased on him, but I'm going to fade Marcos. And I'm not going to be too crazy overweight on Jackson either. It's just that I'd rather get, 30 to 35% of him, which will put me over the field, and then be under on the people like City and Tate and the other mid-range people that I don't like, where I have the underdogs winning.
So I got to shout you out for the Montel call last time against Blackshear. 18 seconds. He was low owned. You're all over it. Sat him down. You absolutely needed him on that card. The problem, let me ask you this first before I talk. Montel versus Petrovic versus Peterson. 8,700, 8,800, 8,900.
I'll just go cheapest the whole way. Jackson, Petrovic, Peterson.
Mine was Petrovic, and then I was close between Peterson, Montel. The thing is, another fight, expected to go the distance. I think Montel might try and wrestle a little bit, but I don't think he puts on the wrestling shoes for 10+ minutes. I think he's going to strike with Marcos early, and if it gets bad, he'll try. I don't see it getting bad too much, but I'm thinking mainly a striking match. For that case, he doesn't knock him out. 8,700, he doesn't get there. Thing with Marcos is, I'll take any win as a dog. We're going to get to a couple dogs that we're going to come up that I am not playing any of. So I need to play some dogs. Plus 171 is a good money line for the price. Even though I don't love the upside, you're telling me he scored 68. I'm playing probably 68%. Like, it's one of those cards for me. So just naturally at his money line, I'm going to have to play a decent amount of Daniel Marcos. Probably going to be cheering for him. I'll probably be more overweight to him than Jackson, partly because I do prefer Petrovic, but Montel has big time power. He can wrestle. I'm going to play some of him too, and he is a pivot in the upper tier, but I prefer Petrovic. I probably prefer Thomas Peterson too, because I think he does wrestle more. I also just think Dantel Mays is way worse than Marcos, so I think there's a better chance at a finish there, but finishing odds are close on all of them. Peterson plus 200, Petrovic plus 215, Jackson plus 225. Probably Marco's my preferred side, even though I'm playing Jackson. Picking Jackson. It's just the lack of dogs on this card. I'm forced to play some. Santiago Ponzinibbio. Daniel Rodriguez, 8,200, 8K. Ponzinibbio minus 129. D-Rod plus 109. Plus 160 for this fight to finish. Pons plus 350 inside the distance. Rodriguez plus 325. Another mid-tier fight, Big Marley, with primary strikers in a fight that's favored to go the distance. And it's only taken more money, the over. Tuesday, plus 140, now plus 160. This is the last mid-tier fight. Wrapping it all up, I think you guys can now see how bad I think the mid-tier is. I mean, I prefer the Bolanos and Lee fight. I prefer Tate. I think there's a better likely for a finish in City Smotherman. I'm going to be underweight this fight. With that being said, D-Rod throws volume. Pons coming off that Carlston Harris Pons fight was great. I mean, Pons bit down on the mouthpiece. He dealt with adversity. He got the job done, but I am worried about Pons' chin. What are you doing in this fight?
I think Rodriguez are pass for me. Should be a striking match for as long as it lasts, and I think it's going to last all 3 rounds. I would think Ponzinibbio is more likely to get the knockout, but Rodriguez is more likely to win in a decision based on being higher volume. I think he's more dangerous on the ground too if it went there, but I just don't expect either one of these guys to be shooting for takedowns unless they're in trouble. So give me Rodriguez to win 2 rounds here and score, 70s, somewhere in the 70s, like all these other freaking people around him.
That's what I mean. I don't want necessarily 70 at 8K though. That's the problem. 70 at 700 feels a lot better. I'm not going to have much of this fight. You're parlaying 2 primary strikers in a fight favored to go the distance to be optimal at 80, 200, and 8K. If it beats me, it beats me. I'm not going to have none, but if I got like 28%, I would probably lower it and cap it a little bit. All right, 2 fights left. 2 5-star fights. You said it carried the card, and it absolutely does carry the card. Bo Nickel, minus 350, taking on Renee DeRitter, plus 285. Minus 170 for this fight to finish. So this is the third of 3 fights expected to finish. Bo, minus 130 inside the distance. DeRitter, plus 600. 20 teams and less, I am playing 0 Renee DeRitter. I think he's the second highest owned underdog. I think he comes in way over-owned. I think people want to fade Bo, get off the hype train because of his boring win against Paul Craig. It was boring. It was 30-27, not even close, no threat, anything. Where's DeRitter great at? On the ground, grappling, wrestling. He ain't better than Bo Nickel on the ground. I'd be shocked. Even though the grappling's still coming along with Bo, he's in grappling matches. He has one of the best gyms. He's training with some of the best guys on the feet. GM3 was outstriking Renee DeRitter. I got Bo by knockout, but he might have some fun in mixing the takedown here or there and really put a stamp on it. I did not think we were going to get Bo Nickel under minus 350, around minus 350 for a while. Yeah, I'm playing 0 DeRitter in 20 teams or less, and he might be 30% owned, 25% owned. I love it. Bo for me for sure.
Wow. Yeah, I like this fight a lot. I think it will be. God, I don't know. Actually, it's gonna suck if this is a striking match. Actually, it's gonna score horribly either way. I don't think so. I don't think
GM3 was piecing this dude up. I that's all I needed to see.
Yeah, I don't know. I mean, I think it would be just a boring striking match that would go the distance. So I guess I'm hoping that it plays out on the feet, and that's what I want to see. I want to see Nichols wrestling tested against a real grappler. And that's what we got here. I think Ritter is live for a submission at some point in this fight. I think he is also live to win a decision. If he can keep this on the feet, maybe hold his own on the ground, land strikes there, get a reversal, whatever, what have you. I think he is live to win 2 rounds here, especially with these corrupt judges. But Nickel's my preferred play. I mean, he's the more dangerous striker. He is the better wrestler. He should be able to dictate where this fight takes place. I just would like to see him wrestle. So we'll see what happens. I'll probably play it more like it's a 4-star, maybe even like a 3-star fight, to be honest with you, but it's definitely a 5-star for my excitement level anyways. And each time I've been trying to make a lineup this whole time we've been on the podcast, it feels like, and I haven't even hit submit on any, but I've been clicking on Nickel or Ritter every single time I'm messing around, I feel like. So I'll get a good amount of it, but I don't think it's a must-have. It could stay on the feet much more than I would like, and that's just not going to be a good thing. I don't think a knockout from either side is likely. It could definitely happen, but I think Ritter's going to give him a tough test here no matter where the fight takes place. So looking forward to it.
Yeah, I'll 100% be underweight on this fight because I'm playing 0 Ritter and 20 and below, and Bo at 9,100 is going to be one of the most chalky on the card. And I do think Bo and his fight IQ, like if he wrestles and stuff, I think he wants to make a statement. I don't know how much he cares about making a statement, though. I mean, he literally took booze forever against Paul Craig. He's clearly better on the feet. Yeah, I'm going to be underweight on this fight. I might even be underweight Bo. I'm definitely going to be underweight on DeRitter. I'm going to fade him in 20 teams or less. If he wins, I'm not going to be optimal. But I will say, if DeRitter wins, I think that there will be a lot more dupes than if DeRitter is not on the optimal. I think he's the second highest owned underdog. I think he's over-owned. And for all those reasons, I'm just going to hit the X button with 20 teams or less. Shark, what's going on, man? Hope you're doing well, Sharks. And, man, Romanov's fighting in PFL right now. I already gassed 3 minutes in. That is funny. Trying to come up with a reason not to go way over. It's the only fighter that you guys have mentioned, her and 100 points together. Well, the upper tier, I mean, we're going to get to Sandhagen. Yeah. We just talked about Bo having 100-point upside. Montel, I don't love it. Mason Jones definitely does if he puts on the wrestling shoes. Beckhoff's plus 105 to finish, also can wrestle. Robertson, like we talked about. And then we talked about Petrovic and Peterson. They both wrestle. I think all those upper tier fighters really do, but it makes sense. Robertson has never scored less than 90 points in a win. She scored in a UFC win dating back to like 2017. So with all that being said, yeah, Big Marley absolutely loves it too. It makes a lot of sense.
Yeah, and I think it's her, Nickel, and Sandhagen who have our big ceilings in this one, but they're also I believe I have them as our highest owned fighters on the card, owned fighters on the card.
Main event time. Again, appreciate everyone hanging out with us. Hopefully we get some fun fights this weekend, or at least hopefully you got a sweat going into the main event. Corey Sandhagen minus 600, Davison Figueiredo plus 425, plus 155 for this fight to finish. Sandhagen plus 230 inside the distance. Figueiredo plus 500. The most popular dog that we have, Fig. I will have 0 Figueiredo. I might play 500 teams. I will have 0 Davison Figueiredo. Hot take right here. I think Corey Sandhagen is around 10, 9, 8 pound for pound right now in the UFC. Unfortunately, I just think Merab and Umar are also there. Man, I think Sandhagen's the best he's ever been. He's saying that. I don't know if it's the psychedelics that he's taken a couple weeks prior to get him in the flow state. I don't know if you've seen any of that. Corey Sandhagen's offensive wrestling, grappling has very much improved. His distance management is nice. His IQ is nice. I was talking in Discord, like, man, I was debating. Maybe I should have laid minus 480 on Sandhagen. I was trying to find a parlay piece. Maybe it should have been Bo Nickel earlier in the week. As you see, Tuesday, minus 480. Now he's minus 600 is Sandhagen. I mean, I'm locking Corey in 20 teams or less. I debated locking him in every single lineup that I was going to make. The only reason I decided not to is if he doesn't offensive wrestle a ton, if he just strikes for days, people can outscore him. Robertson, Petrovic, Mason Jones, all of them. So I'm making the stand in 20 teams or less. Probably won't in 150. I said earlier in Discord I would. I think I changed my mind a little bit. Maybe I'll have like 80% or something. Man, I think Corey Sandhagen is that dude again. I'm probably higher on him than almost anyone. I want to see him against Merab. Probably loses. Umar beat him. Umar Merab, yes. Corey Sandhagen will give him a test, though. Yeah, it's Sandhagen all day. I will play 0 Fig if I had 1,000 teams.
Yeah, same. I'm not playing any Figgy in this one. I think I've been calling for Sandhagen to be a champion since like 2019. Sticking with it. I've never picked – no, I actually picked Umar to beat him, but I wasn't happy about picking that. And before that, I had never picked Sandhagen to lose. So, for me, it's Sandhagen or pass. I'm not going to lock him in 20 teams or less, though. I do want some teams without him, even if I'm making 20 or less. But even if I make 150, I'm not going to have any Figgy. He's my first X out on the card. He is live to win with a knockout or a submission, and he'll score well if that happens. But I don't know how he would possibly win a decision in this fight. And Sandhagen's more dangerous in my opinion. So Sandhagen everywhere. He's my, if not second favorite fighter on the card, then my first. Him and Robertson will be my 2 highest for sure.
Does Sandhagen finish? Does he win by decision?
I think he wins by decision, probably gets 4 or 5 takedowns on the process, though, and also lands 100 significant strikes. So just puts up a big score, I would think. But there is a possibility that there's 0 takedowns, and he has, 110 strikes or something like that in 5 rounds, which not great. So that's why I don't want to lock this fight in, and I want some just without it, period, to get different than the field. But I expect a Sandhagen 100+ point win in this one.
Yeah, me too, for sure. So again, wrapping it all up, the 2 highest owned dogs, Figueiredo, Renee de Ritter. I will have 0 in 20 and below. Those are my big stands this week. That's why I'm playing Dantel Mays, some Ryan Loader, debating Marina Rodriguez. I'm mixing and matching the other dogs. I'll have 0 of the 2 chalkiest ones. If one of them wins, it'll be a bad night for title. There's no doubt about that. But I trust Bo. I trust Corey. I will put my eggs in that basket all day long. Final thoughts for you, Big Marley, on this UFC Fight Night in Des Moines, Iowa.
No, man. Go Sandhagen. Hope he gets it done. Hope he scores well, too. But, yeah, looking forward to that Nickel-Ritter fight. I think that's going to really say a lot about both sides and answer a lot of questions. So, hopefully it's a fun one. Good luck to you, Title. Good luck to everybody listening. Let's ship it.
Good luck, everybody out there. Appreciate all you hanging out. Again, like button, subscribe button. Helps us out a ton. And if you do want to join, no better time. Usually $99 for all of our content, Saber Sim, and the Discord. Use that code DGen75. Gets you $75 off your first month. Only $24. Absolutely cannot beat that. Good luck, everybody. Appreciate y'all hanging out. For Big Marley on Title Town. Good luck this week. Be safe. Peace.